Well, hello everybody. Welcome back once again to JJ's PC Build. You know who it is, JJ right here with you once again. And you know the routine. If this is your first time here, if you've never been here, please subscribe. And if you subscribe, welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds, which I did recognize we got 3 new subscribers and do welcome you to the community. And my veteran subscribers, as always, much love to you for all that you do, helping support the channel. Now today, there's been a lot of leaks and rumors going on around about the RTX 4080 Ti. So I've been hearing this going around the PC community, the chatter. So I figured let's take a look at it real quick and let's see what's going on with that chatter. See what the rumors are all about and see what they got cooking about the 4080 Ti. So let's go ahead and switch over to the action screen and we will get right to it. And we made it to the action screen. There we go. I told you we'd make it there. So the 4080 Ti, we're going to see what videocards.com, and make sure you check them out and give them a thumbs up from me, from JJ on JJ's PC Build. Let everybody know I have video cards that I'm sending you your way as well. So it looks like the 4080, it looks like a beast, coming out. Now, what I'm hearing is this. I'm hearing that, it's going to be a big size GPU, like what they advertised for the 5090, the RTX 5090. They said it's going to be used in a somewhat similar case. That is going to be a big old case. If they do that, it's going to take up 5 slots. And me, I would say, you're best off to be would go water cooling, because that's the only way you'll get down to 2 to 3 slots. So that way you can save up the other slots and make sure you save up for your drink and snacks. I do. That hit the spot. All right, let's see what video cards have to say. Mega Size, a highly reliable hardware leaker. Mega Size GPU, a highly reliable hardware leaker, has hinted at the possible of nvidia introducing a fresh add-on to its graphics card lineup, named either the RTX 4080 Ti or the RTX 4080 Super. They ain't going to name it Super. As if they do name it Super, they're going to end up having to do with the other leak, the 4070 Super, but keep that in mind. According to the tweet, and the final destination remaining undecided, given NVIDIA's apparent departure from the Super series in the RTX 30 series and the absence of a Ti variant of the RTX 4080, it appears most likely to be named RTX 4080 Ti. So they're they're kind of guessing on that, if it's going to be a 4080 Super or a 4080 Ti. So if they make it a 4080 Super, it's not going to be as big as getting a 4080 Ti. Because if they do a 4080 Super, okay, I'm going to bring you back to the main screen really quick, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, if they do a 4080 Super, it's only going to bring it up to the next variant. It's only going to bring it one step up. So if they're doing the 4080 at 16 gigabytes, then they're end up doing the 4080 Super at 16 gigabytes, because they end up doing the 4080 Ti at 20 gigabytes of VRAM. Okay, my opinion, that's probably what they would do to roll on it, but I wouldn't see having 2 cards with the same amount of RAM. Okay, that's one thing you're going to box yourself into a corner with. If they have a 12 gigabyte variant, 16, and then a 20, and then a 24. See, if the 4080 had different marks going from 12 to 16 to 20 to 24, that would have 4 different variants into one number. Then they can do it that way You know, I mean, to me, I would have, if I were to do it, I would have did a 12 gigabyte, a 16, a 20, and a 24 for each one of the numbers. So this way you can go for each variant. You can take, one big number like the 4080 and break it up into four ways. So they could have had four times the amount um, of revenue coming in for four different video cards. But that's up to them. Who knows what they're going to do. All right, let's switch it back to the action screen. There we go again. So, given the NVIDIA apparent departure from the blah, 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 absence of 4040 Ti, we went through that. While official specifications for the card have not emerged yet, not yet emerged, but it should have not emerged yet, there are indications that the underlying GPU will receive an upgrade to AD102 specifications, which that's the same substrate as the 4090, the GPU, the chip. You know what I mean. Okay. So if they did that, then it would be targeted with TGP, total graphics power of less than 450 watts. It's not worth noting that the current RTX 4080 model features the AD103 with 9,728 CUDA cores, falling short of the full capacity of the graphics processor, which boasts, they put boast, it should have been boost, to 10,240 cores. This suggests that NVIDIA is aiming for even greater performance, bridge the gap between the 9,728 and the 16,384 core specifications of the RTX 4090. Now, if you're just making a GPU to fill in the gaps, you're not making a GPU to give you hellacious performance. You're looking to fit it in between the lines. Okay. Now, if you're looking at the matter of the cores, they should have, no matter what the cores were, because that's one thing. The cores only do one action. They only got one job to do. But you got many things that's on that PCB that does many of jobs. So even if you had, let's say you put, okay, let's get the calculator out and just do this really quick. Okay, we're just going to bust out the calculator. Y'all love the calculator, so don't even deny you don't. So you do the 10,240, right? You divide that by 2. That gives you 5,120. So basically, that right there looks like it's the RTX 4070 variant, because the 5,888 CUDA cores is the RTX 4070. So you break that and divide that by 2 again, and you come up with 2,560. Okay, so this brings you up to your 9,728. Now you took that and add on that 9,728 cores. So you add it. So you add the 9,728 and you get 12,288 cores. Now, if they're going to do another 4080 Ti, if they're going to do a 4080 Ti, This is what you got looking forward to when it comes to the course. If they're going to break it down a little bit, I'm just breaking it down to you what I think it should be. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm showing you that it should be 12,288 cores. So, breaking all that down. But below 450 watts, I doubt it. You might as well take, and here comes the calculator again. So, you might as well take the 450 watts, right? The 450 watts they say here, which is going to be at least 550. So you might as well add another 100 on to it. Okay. So, but best way to find out is you go to RTX 4080 specs. Okay. So you look up the specs for the 4080. Okay, let's see what power it takes for the 4080. Okay, so we'll find out the power. And usually they should say it, but, you know, looking at it, it's 8103. So, give me a second, I'll find it. You know me, I'll find it. Here, TDP, 320 watts. Okay, they're saying here 450. So you take your 450, right? Take your 450, you minus it from your 320, right? So you divide that by 2 to give you 65, and then you add 450. 515 watts. Better have 1,000 watt power supply because of the surge. The surge it all the way up to close to 800 watts. If it surges, you know, those little spikes. So you got that to think about when that comes about. So mega size GPU says there will be a 4080S, maybe TI in early 2024, based on an AD102 TGP. It should be TDP, but anyway, below 450 watts, same price as the 4080. But the 4080 is not 450 watts. It might surge up to 450 watts, but it's not 450 watts. Coming over here, it says 320 watts. So this right here, that's surge up 65 more watts. Okay, then you know it's then its predecessor, the 4080. So the 4080 Ti or Super will surge to 450. I have a feeling, since they're fixing the power connectors, that they had something about that too, that nvidia was changing the power connector on their like 4070 4080 or 4070 Ti's 4080, and you know, so on, from 40, you know, the 40 series and up. Basically what I was being told and what I heard was that the sense pins that are down, they made them shorter. Okay, they moved them back and they made them shorter, so that way they equal up with the pins, the main power pins, so when they plug it in, it'll assure that they're plugging it in all the way. They think that will correct the problem with them not plugging it all the way in, because the simple fact is that when they cut those pins back and they move it back a little bit and make them equal to the main power pins, if you don't plug it all the way in, what'll happen is the GPU won't come on. The sense pins will never come on. So you got to make sure it's fully plugged in now. That's the way they're doing the new connectors, just to let you know. So let's get back to it. And let's see, although the power consumption of the RTX 4080, currently rated at 320 watts, may see an increase, it's important to note that without details of the memory specifications, which is true, now they could be going to GDDR7, you know. So if they're going to go up to GDDR7, so that kind of changes the power consumption on the GPU itself, because now you're going to put more power hungry memory chips in there, and it's just going to take up more power. So this is what they're in fear of at this point. So the RTX 4080 Ti could support 20 gigabytes of GDR6X memory, but I'm going to put a but in there. They could go to, since I think it's Samsung. I think Samsung is already doing testing on the GDR7, but also too, nvidia has a fingerhold on the GDDR7. So if they do, and they decide that, hey, it's good enough to put into these GPUs, nvidia is going to be the first one with GDDR7. Just keep that in mind. Which it gives a good position between 24 gigabytes and 16 gigabyte configurations, as seen on the 4090 and the 4080. However, this configuration would require a 320-bit memory bus, which is true. I mean, you look at, for 8 gigs, you need 128. Okay. 12 gigs, you need 190. Okay. 16 gigs, you need 240, and so on. You know, it just goes on and on and on. So, it wouldn't matter what kind of how much memory they put in, all the way up to 42, I'd say 36 or 38 gigs of, gigs of VRAM. I would make them all at 500 bit bus. I make them all 500 bit bus, or 524 bit bus on all of them. So this way, no matter what graphics card you got a stable balance. So either way, you can put as much bus as you want, but you can't go below that, go below the support for your RAM. So you can go above the support of your RAM, but you can't go below the support of your RAM, because then the RAM won't work. So, but if you go above the support of your RAM, then it gives it a more open field for it to operate. So if they do go up to a 524-bit bus, which they should, and because if they're bringing out GDDR7, they should go up to a 524-bit bus and start a new trend. But who knows? Let's see if they do. According to the leaked information, the anticipated launch date for this model is early 2024. Well, we know that. The speculation of NVIDIA releasing the cards like the 4090 Ti or the 4080 Ti has long persisted, as the existing non-Ti variant do not fully utilize the 80A silicon. The card could feature the current RTX 4080 price point of $1,200. I'm just going to say $1,200. So, I mean, you might as well just put it at $1,200. Don't put $1,199. I mean, come on. If you're going to do a 4080 Ti, you should make that $1,200 and make the 4080 down to $899, like they did with the 7900 XT on the AMD side, and put the 4080 Ti at $1,200, which they'll know that the 4080 Ti will end up exceeding the RTX 7900 XTX. or the RX 7900 XTX on AMD side. They know that it's gonna exceed that. So it's going to exceed those specifications. So I can see why they're going to do $1,200, but they better use GDDR7 fit RAM to do that in order to make that card worth something. Because that card ain't going to be worth it if they're going to use GDDR6X. You know, because the 4070 uses GDDR6X. If y'all didn't know that, it does. Not GDDR6, it uses the X version. So keep that in mind as we move on. Okay, so we got some pictures. Yeah, let's see. They don't know the SM count of the 4080 Ti. Okay, they don't know the CUDA cores, which I already told you what the CUDA cores could be. The boost clock, it could go up to about 2.7, 2.8. You never know. T-flops, it could go upwards. You never know. You know. Here. Ready? I know I'm kind of doing a messy kind of thing here. So give me a minute. All right. It could go up to T-flops on the FP32 compute could go up to maybe 90 or 100, somewhere in there. Memory could be at 20 gigabytes GDR7. That would be a big game changer for nvidia if they did that. And the bus, they could run the same kind of bus, the 384-bit. You never know, they could run a bigger bit bus. The memory speed is always what you want to look at. That's 21 gigabytes per second. Okay. Now, that you always want to look at, because the lower that number is, the slower your GPU is. So, and knowing that the 4080 is running faster in memory speed than the 4090. Do keep that in mind. It is running faster, but it's got a smaller bus. So, you know, who knows? But my conclusion to this is, okay, let's go ahead and just dip out of here. I already said it in my conclusion. I'm going to say it again. But anyway. Okay, listen. The 4080 Ti might be a good variant. Might be the variant that they needed the whole time. You know, but look at the facts right here. Okay, if you go to AMD side, was it the 7900 XT? Is what, 20 gigabytes of VRAM? And they made the 4080 with 16 gigabytes of VRAM. It would have been good if they made that with 20 gigabytes of VRAM, but they had a plan. They had a plan making that 16 gigabytes of VRAM and then making the 4070 Ti 12 gigabytes of VRAM. So they did have a plan all along. It's just they're implementing it slowly so that way it doesn't look like they're rushing anything. My opinion. So if they make the 4080 Ti 20 gigabytes, that would be a great variant, and I'm sure everybody would be looking forward to to get their hands on that. But I don't think that NVIDIA is going to be able to sell it kind of on the low side. People are going to look at it and still say $1,200-$1,300 is still a lot of money, especially when they can take and get themselves a lower card and get DLSS 3 and everything else. and be able to get a whole computer built for $1,200. So, I mean, and people, if they still stick with the DDR4, the series, DDR4 series, that I'm sure with a $400 computer build and adding a graphics card in there will make a great system for anybody to game on. I mean, I'm running the 4070 in here, and I'll tell you what, I'm having a blast with it. Believe it or not, I'm having a blast with it. And I know there are some people that hate NVIDIA right now because of their pricing, but there's some shady stuff AMD has done pretty well as well. So, with their FSR 3 that they waited a whole year, that they say, oh, well, it's coming out early next year. I remember when they said it on that keynote, it was coming out in the next year. And now it took them all that time to just get here. Don't say if you're going to do something and you don't do it for a whole year. That's stringing people along. And people don't enjoy being strung along. They want to know if you're going to do it or not. If you're not going to do it, then you should have never said anything about it. That's my opinion. Okay, but if you do it and you put it out there, that's another thing. So you do it, you put it out there, and you announce it. Say, it's already launched. Here you go. Give it a shot and see what you like about it. And let us know what you like or don't like about, this product. This way they should have done it. Or they should have put it in the hands of the reviewers to review it out, so that way they can see what the reviewers like or don't like, or basically get, a poll setting on, what the customer likes or doesn't like about it. But they didn't do that. So they're launching it without anybody really knowing what's going on. And then afterwards, they're telling everybody, hey, we already launched it. It's already there. Surprise. Guess what? It's there. But as far as FSR 3 beating DLSS 3, I doubt it. In my opinion, I doubt it. Especially when, you can flick your screen back and forth like this, and then turn around, you lose FPS. DLSS 3, that's what I did in the last video. When I did the RoboCop one, I went around jittering it to see if you're going to lose the FPS. And I did it on DLSS 3, I did it on Intel XeSS, and I did it on AMD's. So I just flickered it around. And I might run 1080p, but still, it gives you something. I still get something at 1080p. So regardless, if they turn something off and they leave something on, I still get something when it comes to making the picture more clear and to make it look great on my screen at 1080p. So I'm happy with what I seen on RoboCop today. Now, I can tell you DLSS 3 is number one for the RoboCop. Number two is Intel's XeSS, because it's right up there with, DLSS 3. I've already tested those two. And the only thing that AMD gives or the game makers, what they gave on that game was FSR 2.2, and that was it. That was probably implemented by AMD anyway. So AMD probably had their hand in that, and guess what? That game only has that FSR 2.2. And I seen the high performance side, which looked like crap on FSR 2.2. Put it on quality, it didn't look that bad, but it was not that great. It's not like it was DLSS 3. Okay. Put DLSS on, I turned it all on. I turned it on balanced. I turned everything on and off until I seen which was going to give me the best. And I'll tell you, the two that I thought came out the best was the DLSS and Intel's XeSS. Those are the two that I seen the greatest. And I'm not bashing into AMD, and do understand this. I'm going by what I see. Okay? I'm going by what I see. And what I see here. I'm not going by what everybody else says. I'm going by what's up here and what I see here and what I hear over here. Okay? I'm testing the product as it is. Even on a demo, nvidia still came out strong on a demo. Intel came out strong on a demo. Now, AMD, you still got a little bit of work to do. It seems like, your competitors are actually running with that ball. So that's my opinion, and y'all can take it like a grain of salt, or you can take it like gold. But I'm just telling you the way I feel it should be, But anyway, I'm not making this a long video. I'm making this a short video. I'm just letting you know what I think about the RTX 4080 Ti. Is it going to be good, or is it going to be bad? You can leave your comments down below and tell me what you think. Is it going to be good, or is it going to be bad? Would it be something you want to buy, or would it be something you're not going to buy? Leave that comment down below as well. And truthfully, in my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion when it comes out and I see it. And I see what everybody else is, what I'm hearing and I'm seeing for myself. The testing and the cloak and daggers, because I do got other friends too that do independent testing, and I always ask them because they're always good as gold with me on the testing. So they help me out that way too. If I can't get the GPU, they turn around, they already have the GPU, they're the ones testing them and everything else. So I go and get their results too, but I got my own results as well. So I'm just going by hearsay at that point, but when I got the actual fact in front of me and I'm testing it, that's a different story. It's like the RTX 4070. I have it. It's in my system. I'm testing it right on with that game. That's fact. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm giving you a fact when it comes to that. And I'm telling you what I seen on the 4070, the difference between, I took y'all with me. I ain't got to say nothing different. I ain't got to tell you. I already took y'all along with me. I showed you the different modes and everything else. What it looked like, what it didn't look like, and everything else. What looked like crap, what didn't look like crap. I took you all through it. All you got to do is go watch the video from beginning to end. It might not make sense to you the way I did it, but I did it that way because it makes sense to me. And how I tested it, and how I come up with my conclusions. It might not make sense to other reviewers, but it made sense to me. That's the way I do things. I do things differently. I don't do it the way nobody does. Stay, Mike. See, and Mike don't even talk back. So there it is. But the way they test is not the way I test. I test in a different way. I write things down. I look at it and I say, okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Then I go back through again. I do it like a typewriter. I go back through each individual one and every one of them until I come up with the conclusion. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is bad. Okay. I go through every setting in each individual way to see which way is going to be the best way to have the settings set to give me the best performance that I'm going to get. Now, I'm going to tell you, to go from 94 FPS to 212 FPS off of DLSS 3 and to go from 98 to 100 to 186 off of XCSS by Intel, that's not too bad. Now, to go from 98 to 100, was it 176 on FSR 2.2? No, I don't think so. Okay, to have the FPS, to have, you know, the graphics look good and everything else, I'm staying with the DLSS 3. Y'all can say fake gen or whatever. Y'all can say fake this, fake that, fake this. That's more or less like giving a finger saying F that, F that, and F that. Okay? If you don't like the product, and I'm going to tell you this, if you don't like NVIDIA's product, stop whining about it and sell it. Simple as that. Just sell it. If you're that infatuated with AMD, then go to AMD and stop crying about what NVIDIA is doing. Okay? If you enjoy NVIDIA, you love the ray tracing and everything else, then go with it. Don't let it stop you. I have one system here that's NVIDIA and AMD together. I have one system over there that's AMD and AMD. And I have one system over here that's NVIDIA and Intel. Okay, so what's the problem? What's the drill? They've already said, a lot of people are saying this, and they're having a lot of problem with it, that they're having driver issues with the FSR 3. You know, with the jiggling the cam view. They're already having problems with it. I can understand companies are going to have their problems with their software, so, and that's the reason why they make updates. So you give them enough time to get the updates, to get it all out there and get it fixed. But what happens 6 months down the road and it still does it? You know, you should have had that fixed within a week. NVIDIA does. They don't seem to have that jiggle problem. And I've been going back through the software of NVIDIA to see if they had anything that looked like that jiggling problem. So far in my findings, I didn't find anything. Somebody said that, you know, it was out there that NVIDIA had a problem with one of, but they couldn't tell me what software it was. So I can go and investigate it to find out if it's true or not. So I don't know. I'm just telling you what I know. From the time that I got the 4070 and up, I can tell you about the drivers of NVIDIA. And I've already scaled each one of them and tested each one of them going up. So, and like with AMD, I've already tested their recent drivers. And I can already tell you, even on an iGPU, that they got issues with their drivers. As I was already starting to see a glitch on my iGPU with their drivers. No lie. So, I'm waiting for an update to see if they fix the glitch. If they don't, then you know it's going to be there. And then if they don't fix it, then I'm going to make a video about it. And I'm going to show you all everything about it and why it's glitching. So I'm waiting to see if they fix it. If they fix it, I'm not going forward with it. But if they don't, I'm gonna tell you. So do get that ready, because that video might be coming soon. You never know. So, but let's go ahead and call it here. And if you made it all the way here, make sure you like, subscribe, put a thumbs up on the video. Would be much appreciated. And if you've already subscribed, welcome to the family. Welcome to JJ's PC Builds. And also to my veteran subscribers, as always, much love to you for all that you do, supporting the channel, helping, watching the videos from beginning to end, and also to telling your friends to come on up, subscribe to the community right here. But until the next time, and I mean the next time in the next video, this is JJ on JJ's PC Builds. We will see you on the next one.